idea of the size of the pieces. As you can see, the two sides of a person. So when you're going through the contemplation journey, you're always figuring out what this means. Okay, stop crying, let's move on. Hello and welcome to my little art studio. I'm very excited to show you guys what I have in the studio. I am confidently gonna say that I am 50% done. But then again, you know how the process goes. I'll add in a little more detail, another layer. And then the end mark is like further and further away. But as of right now, I can confidently say that I'm 50% done. 13 pieces are being simultaneously painted right now. And the exhibition is going to be on February 19th and ends on March 30th. So I still have December and January to work on everything, and a little bit of February I will basically save it for varnishing and making sure everything looks good, you know, putting in the hanging mechanisms behind each canvas, things like that, printing name cards or flyers. I haven't figured all that out yet, but it'll be figured out, it will be. But yeah, let me show you around. As of right now, the pottery section of my studio will be a little quiet just because I'm rushing the deadline for the exhibition, and so you won't really see much pottery until after February. But let me show you, I have bought some new colors that I'm very excited about. So here are the test tiles for the colors, or the new ones that I've bought. So there are some failures, like this one was supposed to be purple, but it turned out blue because I guess the heat was a little too high for this particular color. And then there was another, so this was supposed to be maroon, but it came out like a purplish brownish sort of color. So it technically is a failure, but I do like the effect, so I'm still gonna use it on certain pieces. Even this one, it's a failure in terms of it being purple, but because it's still a pretty blue, I would still use it. So yeah, generally it was a good firing. I even made more test tiles for future colors that I will be buying. So yeah, it's not totally quiet in the pottery side of the studio, but it's quiet in terms of making new pieces or churning out new pieces. But yeah, just to refresh everybody's memory, this is the mock-up sketched out of the collection, all 13 pieces. I will be going one by one to show you guys what it looks like in real life and the size of it. So in this corner of the studio, we have this one that's titled Find My Marbles. We have the community piece right here, and this one's titled The Flood. And just to give you guys an idea of the size of the pieces, I'm 5 feet 2. I want to say. I don't memorize these things, and I'm bad with memorizing numbers and names, so I'm around 5 feet 2. But yeah, just to give you guys an idea of how big these pieces are. And on this easel we have the painting titled Duality. As you can see, the two sides of a person. I explained in the previous video the story behind this one, and I am going to be writing on my Patreon the different story behind each piece, so that on the day of the exhibition I will be putting like a little QR code for viewers to like scan and read about the pieces if they're interested in knowing more. Because me personally, I love that when you know, the little piece beside the art, it explains a little more about the artist's vision or inspiration or purpose of the painting, etc. So I would like to offer that to my viewers as well. But I also know that some viewers prefer it if they just have a one-on-one with the painting and not see the artist's reasons or symbolism and etc. They want to have that personal interaction with the piece without the artist's input. So I understand that, totally respect that, because sometimes I feel like that too, sometimes. So I'm going to put a little QR code instead of having it all written out, just in case they want to have that experience. But yeah, so this is Duality. And over here we have the piece titled The Journey. And I also explained all this in my previous video, so you can watch that one if you are interested in a little bit or a snippet of the story behind this piece. So she's barely touched. There are some others that are barely touched as well, but it will be ready for the day, I promise you. And this stack right here are basically part of the pillars that you enter and exit into the collection. They are almost done in terms of painting. I just need to layer a few more for maybe the pink and the purple and maybe the orange as well, just to layer it to make it opaque. And then I will start embroidering the details on these 4. So that's that. And this one over here is the piece that I was most excited to start on and to paint and see it finished, because the title of my whole collection is Contemplation, and this particular piece is titled Contemplation. And for me, that's just in general, I have a lot of symbolism in my work, or what each element means, etc. They're not random. Well, majority, 95% isn't random. But yeah, so for example, these lines and dots symbolize the basics of like language, trying to communicate what you're thinking, feeling, etc. either to yourself or to other people when you're asking them for help. So when you're going through the contemplation journey, you're always figuring out what this means, how do I express it, what am I supposed to do with it, etc. So with each layer through the contemplation journey, you're always figuring out new things and writing it down or journaling it to make sense of it all. Communication is very much part and parcel of the contemplation journey for me and process of healing. So yeah, this is the piece that I'm most excited to finish. As you can see, I think out of everything, this one, this is one of the most complex ones, and this is also going to be like one of the first ones that I'm going to finish, just because I'm so excited to see it finalized. So let's give you a little bit more close up on the details of this piece. Yeah. So the symbolism behind this piece is when you have set aside moments for yourself to contemplate on you, what you're struggling with, and figuring out how to make sense of the world, there will always be outside forces trying to invade that space and flood it over, destroy the work that you have done. That's always a looming possibility, and it is so important that we realize how important it is to protect this sacred space where you can sit and contemplate on you, your inner being, life, what you want for your future, etc. Because if this space isn't protected, then you will basically be in shambles and easily overwhelmed, easily destroyed, or feel defeated if this space isn't protected. So that's what I wanted to communicate with this piece. And yeah, it's just a reminder for us to always protect our space, and how that intricate work will not make itself. You have to protect it so that it can grow, it can be the best possible version of what you can make it. And over here we have the pieces that are waiting for their turn to be worked on. These two are part of the windows to the soul pillars that mark the entrance and exit of the collection. And this piece over here, let me move it so you can see it better. This one's titled Healing, and it's the most emotional piece for me, just because in my personal contemplation journey, I go into it to heal myself. Because when I first started setting aside time to contemplate on me, my life, making sense of the world, making sense of myself and my experiences, it was a very difficult journey to, you know, unravel all past traumas that I have gathered over the years throughout my childhood, teenage years, adulthood. Like, it was a very complex mess. It's a lot of chaos. And when I go into my contemplation, I realize a lot of things about myself, about how I should and shouldn't approach things, about my definition of rights and wrongs compared to other people's definition that have been shoved down my throat over the years, you know. So this is a very emotional piece for me, and I'm so glad I was able to sit down and create this piece. And I'm hoping that whoever who embraces this piece into their home would feel the same way I do when I look at it. So yeah. Okay, stop crying, let's move on. And that is what's going on in the studio so far. I am so grateful that I have a room in the house that I can utilize as my home studio, because having a day job and, you know, taking care of the house and, you know, trying to get all of this done before the deadline is a lot. And I can't imagine having another space outside of the house that I have to rent or pay rent for. I have to drive to. I would not be able to accomplish as much as I have been able to accomplish if my studio was outside the house. And I know some people aren't really a big fan of having work in the same space as their living quarters, but for me, I love that. Like that for me, because I can squeeze in like little minutes here and there, or hours throughout the day wherever or whenever I can spare the time, like in between laundry and dishes and day job. It's just a lot. So for me, it's a privilege to be able to squeeze in a little bit of time whenever I can to create the pieces and to work on my art. Otherwise, it would be practically impossible for me to find time in that sense to create art. So I am very grateful for this space. Yeah. Now for the rest of the day, I am planning to, it's 2:31 p.m. I'm gonna work until my husband comes home at about 6:30, sometimes 8 o'clock. We'll see how that goes, because once he comes home, I'm gonna watch the series From. That scares the shit out of me, but I love it. I'm not a horror fan though. I don't like anything horror, but this one is it's not horror, but like, you know, it's scary. But I'm very excited to see the season finale. I love watching it with my husband, because yeah, it makes it more fun. So yeah, I am excited to do that once he comes home, and we most likely will be ordering in some wings. We don't really eat out that much because it's really expensive, and I'm trying to save money for the kiln that I would want to buy. Because it's gonna cost me $5,000, and I am saving for that. So today is a special day where we get to order out and watch one of our favorite series. So I'm looking forward to that at the end of the day, but from now till then, I want to cram in as much painting progress as I possibly can. So join me. And while this layer is drying on this painting right here, I will move on to the next piece, add on a layer, and while this one's drying, I'll move on to the next piece, and that's how I work on 13 paintings simultaneously. It's already 5 p.m, a little past 5 p.m. So I will work on these pieces for a little while more and then call it a day because I have to pace myself. Because tomorrow my job, I'll be working midnight till 9 a.m. And then Thursday till the weekend it's gonna be cycle because I'm working Thanksgiving. And then Black Friday, I have both my retail job and in the evening, I'll be working a workshop at the Northern Museum. I know I haven't told you guys this, but that's happening too. It'll be my first time teaching a workshop in a museum. Well, technically, the other time that I taught a workshop was back in Malaysia for the Bank Negara Museum, but I was teaching more of the staff members rather than the public. This is my first time teaching a workshop to the public, so forecast there will be about 80 to 100 people going through the workshop. So we shall see, because it is Black Friday. Some people might be shopping and not be coming to the event, or it might be crazy and everybody's coming to the event. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys posted in the next vlog. Hopefully I'll have some footage to share with you guys. Yeah, so that's happening on Friday night. It's just back-to-back crazy, but I am very excited for the Nottingham Museum gig because it's gonna be my first time, and just, yeah, it's just awesome. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that are coming in for me, and the retail job I'm also grateful for, just because the kiln is not gonna buy itself. I'm not exactly selling a lot of my work at the moment. My stuff is a bit more niche. I haven't really found my tribe who really enjoys and loves my pieces enough to buy them. So fingers crossed that will be in my future, that I can sustain my art career with, you know, the people who actually love my work and want to collect my work. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's all for this vlog, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!